the quiet of my soul, where doubts and fears take hold, I feel a gentle breeze. Your presence sets me free. The touch of love, so soft yet strong, heals my heart where I belong. God's embrace, so long caress, calming every storm and stress.
Okay, we had a kink in our armor. We started our program a few moments ago, and Donella and I, we were just chatting away. I mean, we were just chatting. Hey, things happen, right? But we press on. So if you're going through some problems in your life right now and you just want to give up because things just do not turn out the way you want them to turn out, don't give up. Just press on. It happens to everybody. In fact, that that falls right in line with what we're talking about. Embracing humility. You learn. Okay, and then we have to find out, we will discover what humility actually is. But our title today or tonight or whatever time, well, this is live, so it's tonight. But you may get this as a recording, so I don't know what time it is at that time. But I do know this time. Listen, listen. What will you do if the candidate that you voted for loses the election? What will be your disposition, your attitude, your behavior? Okay. And that's what we want to deal with tonight. We want to put that in that framework of embracing humility. And we'd like for you to engage with us, those things. Okay. We really would. Now, why is that? My recording just paused. Why is that? Hold on, hold on. Okay, now, okay. So I got to keep my hands down. I talked with my hands, and my hand hit my computer and put everything on pause.
Wow, nice, Dr. V.
Okay. All right. So now, Donella, we're looking at some of the roadblocks to embracing humility, and mention like social media. Could you share once again what you told us?
Yes, so a famous scientist said that there's more information produced every 3 days than from the beginning of time to like 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So what social media, what the internet has brought us is a deluge of information.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that comes, definitely competition, definitely, misinformation. Definitely it augments people's ideas already. Like the algorithms that are set in the internet are designed to give you what you already believe in. So if you already believe in a particular point of view, everything that you get, the news, everything is going to be that. So it reinforces people's opinions and also helps to create a divide because it separates people and it puts people in camps, and getting that information over and over again just solidifies that. So that's what's happening. And I think so it's double-sided. It's great that we have all of this information. It's great that we have people coming forward and proclaiming themselves to be authorities, because guess what? If you're disseminating the information, that's a good thing. If it's good information, if it's helpful information. But at the same time, if it's something that is designed to instill fear or reinforce fear, then that's a problem. And what we have with this election is we have a culture of fear. Everybody is afraid. And that is the thing. It's not even a case anymore of differing ideologies. What it is a fear-based scenario where each side is saying, if you lose, you're going to lose your livelihood. You're going to lose what's most important to you. And so that fear is really what's driving everything. And the internet, unfortunately, helps to perpetuate those fears.
Wow. But as you were speaking now, I'm gonna watch my hands, so I'm gonna turn off the recorder.
Yeah, don't knock it
And
off.
now listen to this. As you were speaking there, Donella, I was thinking, what is the difference in churches today? You go to churches. Some churches say if you attend that church, you're going to go to hell. If you believe that, you're going to get messed up. It seems to be the same thing about fear. You
Right.
know, humility is challenged. Then that fear factor. Oh man, I don't know what to say on all that at this particular point because, but we're going to talk about how to embrace humility. Well, I'm finding here that we have to understand what humility is too. Now, according to what I have read, that humility is not a weakness. Now, how do you define humility?
Well, I think with humility and what people would see as being humble, and displaying that in a healthy way requires a person to feel safe. They can't be in fight or flight syndrome. They can't be using their limbic brain, which says, you're threatening my existence. And they have to be able to understand that I can submit to another person. I can submit whether I agree or not. And I can allow this person to exist in freedom. I can allow this perspective to exist and know that it doesn't threaten me and my life.
Okay. Now I'm
And,
going to hit these. Go ahead. And I'm
and so
listening.
I don't think you can have that sense of humility if you are operating in fear, because
Mm,
everything is going to feel like a threat.
okay. All right. Now, I want everyone to know we are looking at this election. We are looking at what's going on. Also, we are aware of what's going on within our churches, within our community. I want to stop, however, before I get into that community aspect. What about the schools? Some people are um students are afraid of failure. They're afraid that they will not be recognized and in certain aspects unless they're very athletic or they're mentally astute to what's going on around them, um, or they're beautiful or handsome or strong, you know. So how is humility how can humility be, I don't want to really say embrace at this time, but I think I am going to say embrace. How can humility be seen in that type of setting?
I'm not sure, because like Dr. V, let's get these definitions together. Like when
Okay.
you're talking about humility,
Hmm.
like what does humility look to you? How does someone demonstrate humility, whether it is in a school setting, whether it is in this political climate, or whether it is in a church setting? What is humility in according to you?
Oh, you see, that's my question. Thank you for putting it in that package.
Oh, okay. Word. Super.
Uh, yeah, but
Look,
because
watch your hands, Dr. V.
yes, I will. Now, see, this is the thing. Because of the different perceptions that people have of humility, we need to really clarify that. But I just want to these are the challenges that we have because people have different concepts of humility. All right. Some people believe that if I'm humble, then I can let people walk. I have to let people walk all over me, and I
Mhm.
can't afford to be humble. I got to be able to. Okay, that's fight or flight syndrome, right?
Right.
So that's the idea that many people have. And so I looked at this thing and I want us to explore this thing. And there's one other aspect too that is raised in the question. How many people that you know or anyone knows that is actually humble?
See, here we go. We don't have a definition of humility though, Dr. V, because honestly, what is humility? What is that quality that someone that most people agree, oh, you're a humble person? Because
Mhm.
for example, if we're talking on a level like like a lot of women, they may say, "Oh my God, I love your hair, I love your jacket," or something. They may go, "Oh my God, this whole thing," and that's considered humility, but it's actually lying because it's like, that really. So sometimes I think if we define exactly what humility means, then we can kind of move forward with that conversation. Because what we find, like for me, for example, I'm a person that is confident in my opinions. And some people may not find that to be very humble. But at the same time, I allow other opinions to exist in the room. And I even listen as far as as long as I feel like it. And then when I don't, it's just like, we're done. Which is more than what a lot of people do, because most of us don't listen. We listen with the intent to speak and make a rebuttal. But so what is humility?
Oh, wow. You throw that back at me. Okay.
I have to throw
I
it back
got
at
you.
you.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. I got it. Here it is. Right here. Want me to read it to you?
I'm all ears.
All right. Listen, having humility means recognizing and accepting your limitations.
Oh, okay. Do
Yes.
tell. Okay, that's
Be
interesting.
Yeah, being modest about your achievements and valuing others' contributions.
Okay.
It is about putting others before yourself and being open to learning and growth. Now that humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. In other words, you know how some people, they just have to be the centerpiece of all conversations. They don't allow other people to speak. Now, it's good to be a centerpiece every now and then. You get in the center and you can talk. It's my turn, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But then you have to understand other people may want to turn. So you pull back and let somebody else go. And you listen. And you listen with an open mind. Not to put down, not to be mean, but to learn. Your mind is open to learn new things. Humble people, people of humility, are people who know themselves, know their limitations, and are living and are willing to learn of others as well. And that requires listening. And you identify yourself as such. It's amazing.
To a degree, because once again,
Okay.
when we're talking about the political climate,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of where you have you have a facet like the far right who
Mm-hmm.
honestly believe that I don't know why. And if we have anyone in the audience that is a far right person and can correct me on this, please do. But I'm trying to think of there's so many very primal, visceral reactions in this election. And everyone is so afraid. And it feels like, I think on the far right, they feel like their lifestyle is at stake. Maybe, dare I say, the country may be getting too brown or too black or too non-white. Maybe there's too many different religions coming in that are threatening the Christian foundation. I don't know. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Okay, I can be wrong. But they literally feel like their livelihood, their authority is at stake. I could be wrong. And then on the far left, you have definitely the proponents, the LGBTQIA community and other groups who feel that if the far right is in control, they're going to take away everything that we fought so hard for. They're going to take away our right to marry. They're going to take away our right to exist, our right to be. So both sides feel like they're going to take away my right to be. Where does humility? Yeah, where does humility come into that when you feel your very existence is threatened?
Hey, that's a very good question. Very good question. Very good question. So what's your answer?
How do I do, Dr. V? I mean, because that's real. This is what you have where people literally feel if that opposite, perspective is running the show, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm. But
My right.
what I get oftentimes is that when we get ourselves in that corner, in that mental corner, it seems to me that we have taken on the absolute, that I know what's going to happen. There's no if, buts, ands, no maybes about. There aren't any other variables involved. And so when I think there's no other variable involved, I'm going to do what I think is right to do, even though that right may be an extreme,
Right.
right? So then the question we need to ask ourselves, I think often, is are there any absolutes outside? Now, I believe in the Almighty. I believe that God is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. If there's any absolute, God is. Under God, there's relativity. There is so many different variables in life. How can someone be absolute and then someone comes to you, point a gun at you or a knife just in your face and threatening you?
So,
That's
so are you
yeah, good.
saying, Dr. V, that your faith gives you a feeling of safety where you don't go to those extremes of thinking that, okay, if this opposite perspective is in charge, I'm still going to be okay because God's got me?
Right, right. If that's not there, and particularly if your God is as biased as you are, then there's no hope for the other side, because the God that is as bad as you are will destroy the other side. And that's where you have these religious rivalries come, and they have these religious wars and debates and things of this nature. But when we think of love, I mean, people talk about love. Talk about love, if we can identify it and make movies out of, write books on it, we can fantasize, romanticize on love, but when it comes to actually demonstrating it, we said we got to face reality. We may even come up with a song. What love got to do with it, right? But you're dealing with these feelings of uncertainties. And so I believe with all my heart that God is love. And so, but God is not limited. See, this is where a lot of people miss the boat. God is not limited to a particular uh, um, tradition. I'm trying to be careful with my words. He's not limited to a particular tradition, and you cannot find it. It's God. God is like, for me, it can be perceived as the thought. I'm being philosophical now, as the thought that God is God, as one minister would say, all by himself. Then someone else would say, well, why you call him a him when it could be a she? Or why can't he be a he, she, or she, he? But let's say God is the creator of the he and the she, right? So we have
And the
God
they
who,
and the them.
and I think we can make ourselves out of other things.
So God didn't
And
create they, them.
no, no, he created us. He created humanity. He created, hey, listen. I don't mean any offense to anybody out there who may be a they or it or whatever.
Ooh, I
Okay.
don't think they don't use it. They don't say it.
Okay. They don't say it. Well, you don't play the game like you it. They don't play you it anymore. What's going on with this? See, I'm
No, they're
saying we
not
try to be
playing
so
tag.
politically correct. Okay, okay, no it's.
No,
Okay.
it's
But I thought I saw a movie called It. Oh, it was about a monster. Right. Okay, now God created us as human beings, right? And I think what people miss the boat, particularly when it comes to the Bible, that God created Adam and Eve. There's no if, buts, ands, or maybes about that, according to the Bible. Now, if you have another book reference, then that's according to your reference. But according to the Bible reference, he made Adam and Eve. Now, some people want to go beyond what the Bible is written, to go to extra biblical sources. Well, that's their choice. But according to the choice that I've chosen, like the Bible, Adam and Eve. Now, when Adam and Eve, now I'm really gonna put my hand in the stew here, maybe in the hot plate, but
Yes,
listen,
you're there. You're already
I'm
there,
already
Dr.
there.
B. You might
I'm
as well
already
go
there.
full
No, no,
throttle.
no, 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 no. Notice, this. God only gave Adam and Eve the choices he wanted them to have. Someone say, well, no, that can't be. That can't be. That can't be. I say, why not? Because they ate of the tree. That's why they call sin. Yeah, I said, man, be real, will you? God flat out told them not to eat it. Now, if you tell somebody not to eat something, how is that a choice? He gave him the power to choose. Yes. So he can choose or make his own choice. But that was not a choice given to him. So, and yet God says, have at it. You've made your choice. Then you didn't want my choice. So here's your world. Go out there. You determine the good, you determine your evil. That's what he basically said, as I read it. Man has become like one of us to experience good and evil. But then, in other words, each of us have to make up our own minds what is good and what is evil. It's not said. So that without God, God said, without me, however, you won't live. You're going to end up dying. Okay. And that's it. I know it has been propagated and taught that God got mad at Adam and Eve, kicked their butts out of the Eden garden, and told them, you're going to die unless you believe in me. I got my bolt and lightning. But then when Jesus comes on the scene, he paints a totally different picture. Now, either God is confused or we're confused about God. Jesus says, I come not to do my will, but the will of him who sent me. So
Well,
then
we
when you talk,
already Oh, so
go
we
ahead.
already know that the first and oh gosh, I don't want to promote my ignorance, so I apologize to all the bibliophiles in advance. But I believe the Old and the New Testament, we already know they differ and contradict. So very much so. And actually, because there was no Christians in the Old Testament, so there's that. But so I get what you're saying, Dr. Rev, but we have deviated from the point of
What is it?
humility.
Yeah, no, we're still there. We're
Are
still
we?
there.
Are we?
Yes. And see, just like some people believe that the Bible contradicts itself, actually, there's so many facets like a diamond. Think about it. Think about it now. We are in a time where we're trying to save our planet. We are trying to elect people who can make intelligent choices so that we will not waste resources. We
Okay, so
understand.
here's
So
the thing. It kind of sounds like you're responding to that fear mongering that everything is at stake because you're literally saying we're trying to save the planet with this election.
no, I'm saying that's what some people are saying. I'm
Right.
not saying I'm
Without
saying that.
taking into account. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that. Because,
No,
and
I'm not
that's
saying
the
that.
thing. And I think what we need to ask ourselves really is what is at stake. Because when we talk about as far as humility with the election, what I really believe is that people are like I said, they're scared. But when you think about it, how different was your life when Trump was in power and when Biden, gosh, my memory, who was after who was after that?
I,
I don't know. Think about Obama, think about Trump, think about Biden, and think
mhm.
about your life during that point. And honestly, I have to say, if it weren't for the stories, the news stories, the fear, scenarios that were thrust on us, and one thing I think of in particular was that it seemed they kept saying, oh, the attacks minorities increased under the Trump administration. So we're in danger. Mind you, I think in the past 2 months, there have been stories of 2 Black males who were lynched, who they said it was suicide. And so this is under Biden. So getting back to my point, when all of the Democrats in power, Republicans in power, my life was the same. The trajectory of my life, my daily experiences were largely unaffected. Now, if we really want to talk about whether something's going to affect you or not, talk about electing those judges and the people that okay. Now, we get so focused on the presidency, which really does not affect you. You had an Obama phone under Obama, you got an Obama phone now, and had one under Trump or whatever. I mean, what are we really talking about here? Where are
exactly? Go ahead. Good. What are we really talking about? You're going right where I think we need to go. You're going to the judges, and the judges are representing what? Policies and laws. But those same policies and laws shift depending on the opinion of the judge. They go back to tradition. They say, well, there's no precedent for this, or there's the precedent for this, and therefore we judge this way. And so the politicians can elect someone who has a leaning this way, a leaning that way. So the question is, where is the law? Then we go right back to where I wanted to go, to where God said up that his way is the only right way. So then he's so open-minded and humble that he said, if you don't want it my way, go your way. And I'm here when you recognize that my way is the best way and the only way. I'm not going to condemn you per se, but understand, because you chose your way, then your way is not based on eternal principles. That's eternal principles. And we're dealing with principles, we're dealing with facts. And scientists and thinking individuals, they look at facts, not well, I think this and I think that per se. But the reason why I think this way is because X turns out this way and that way under this condition and under that condition. And therefore, because I want this type of result, I'm choosing to do this. And these are the principles that are set in nature. And that's why I say a lot of people who profess to believe in God cause other people who are thinking people to see God's word as contradictory when they are fluid and they are constant throughout. It is the ideologies and philosophical premises of human beings who want things their way that make it appear that the Bible contradicts itself.
Well, okay, so I'm not going to fight you on that, maybe later. But right now, what I am going to fight you on, Dr. D, is that you talk about nature. Nature is brutal. Animals eat other animals to survive. So we can't use, when we think about it for a minute, and tell me how nuts this is to me. It's just nuts. Okay. We have a world where literally, in order for the animal kingdom to perpetuate itself, they eat each other. Right? That's the way it is. Here we go. We say, well, in heaven, the lamb and the lion are going to be together and be friends.
Right.
But this is the world.
Exactly. That's my whole point.
But
that's my whole point.
But we don't
Before this situation.
But you mentioned nature. You mentioned nature.
And I'm going back.
Nature is this world.
Exactly.
And in nature, baby bunnies are being eaten by eagles right now, and God's not doing anything about it.
Right. That's and human beings are eating. Right. And human beings are eating people. And God's not doing anything about it.
I don't know. I may do a steak every now and again. I don't do people.
You don't do people. But some people are doing people. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Like you, some people are Jeffrey Dahmer, right?
Yeah, some people are doing people. Now, I don't want to be naive on that. But if I take the Bible as it says, before sin entered into the world, nature was in harmony with what God wanted. Because
But
God,
nature
but
is in
li-
harmony right now.
yeah,
This
well,
this is
no,
harmony.
no,
This
no,
is
no.
it.
Well, you're absolutely right. But in this sense, though, if you hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. In this sense, it's amazing to me that God gave to humanity dominion over nature. He handed it over to mankind, and mankind can do whatever he wants with it. And the animals had to follow man. And God put one thing in the animal. He says, you run away from that man, right? So then man, because he is or she is or humanity is dominant, it has to obey the person who is in charge of the earth. God gave man charge of the earth. So the earth followed man. So today, whereas before the sin of man, the lion did lay down with the lamb. But now they're gonna eat up each other. Everybody gonna eat up each other. Even the sky gonna fall out and hit somebody upside the head. The rocks gonna fall over here. Sunlight gonna be blacking out and all that stuff. Why? Because God entrusted us with that. And you take science, even today, they say, well, we got global warming, right? We got global warming. What can we do for that? So now we sending planes up trying to shield the earth and so that we won't have that extreme cold or heat. Well, so we have these things happening in our world today. And yet, when we look at the world today, it's savage. And that's why I'm saying if the person you elected loses, what's your response? Because when you look at it, whether you are to the far right, far left, or in between, it's a dog eat dog world.
Well, I
Okay,
think that's where
somebody is going to get run over. So then, who are you really fighting for? If I am, as I say, I'm not a woman, but if
but why
I
does anybody
were
have to get run over?
exactly, that's the whole point. Why do we think it's necessary in order for one side to win or get their way, the other side has to lose? Why do we do that?
Well,
Why
that's
do we
just
put?
in
Why do we
nature,
promote that?
but the Bible promotes that. The
Where?
Bible promotes duality,
No, who told you that?
good and evil.
Good and evil. What's good?
But this is the thing. When you speak in biblical terms, and this is why people, especially Westerners, are conditioned to think in duality. When you talk to people that don't have a biblical framework, they're able to see the shades of gray and see, the abstractness and the ambiguities. We as Westerners are programmed to think this or that. So we can't,
Mm-hmm.
this is why we act the way we do, where we can't even see that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally that. And so don't get me wrong, I'm not here to knock down the Judeo-Christian
Girl,
um
I just like you. You stirred up. You need to
I'm not,
go ahead,
but if
talk.
we recognize that cultural inheritance, then
Mm-hmm.
it all makes complete sense, because in the Bible there's an enemy.
Wait.
And we are
Hmm?
in the Bible, there's an enemy. That's the whole thing.
What's the
That's
enemy?
the whole story.
What's the
Satan.
enemy?
Satan.
Well, no. You know what's the enemy?
Okay,
Lying.
you got a different Bible.
Lying is the enemy.
Okay, so but this,
That's
but
what
think about
Satan
it.
means. Satan
Okay,
means
so
liar.
no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to get colorful, because you're getting back. You got the way you talked about Adam and Eve, and it's
Okay, go
not
ahead.
an allegory. We're not going to
Okay.
talk about Satan like it's an allegory. Okay, we're going to take it the way it is. So I'm loving your face right now. I love it. So if our cultural inheritance is to think of there's this force is good and there's an enemy. That is the way we think about life. And that is the way we conduct ourselves in our daily activities, which is why we always have to make a villain. Somebody's got to be wrong. And most of the time, it's not going to be ourselves. This is our cultural inheritance. So when you bring up the
Now,
Bible,
see what you just did?
what I do?
The same thing that you're accusing other people of doing.
Which is?
Well, I made a statement and it seemed like it was wrong.
No, not wrong. Not wrong. No.
Was it right?
I don't know. That's not
So
for
what
me.
are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is how our Judeo-Christian framework shapes our thinking.
You know, this
Why?
this right here, you know what shaped my thinking? Well, I'm gonna tell you what shaped my thinking. I heard through the grapevine. I was brought up, yes, Judeo-Christian. I was also
We
brought
all have that inheritance.
I also brought up as an African American. I was brought up as a Negro. I was brought up as under all those themes that I pushed against. I was told that I was black. And I looked at my skin and I said, I'm not black, I'm brown. And then again, someone said I was denying my heritage. And I said, well, who told you this? And I also saw someone said that color over there is blue. And I said, who said it was blue? Because you said so? What if I want to call it a different color? Now that's not a Judeo-Christian mentality. I call that a Victor Waller frame of thinking. The way I'm thinking as an individual, and I'm saying as an individual, why do we do what we do? And we try to do. I also had the thought like, why do people say that I have to eat lunch at noon? Who said breakfast has to be early in the morning? And who came up with the word breakfast and what does it mean? I also came up with thoughts like,
It means breaking the
why is my
fast
head,
of the night.
why do I have eyes in my head? Why don't I have it on my shoulders? Why how much my so what I'm saying is my framework is so outlandish for some people. They would call me crazy. But
It's
I came to
outlandish for some
but
people, but you have to, and this is me. And
okay.
I'm a weirdo too. But
See, no, you weird.
I
Me not
operate
weird.
under that cultural framework because that's what culture is. You can't escape it. You
But
can
my
say I'm an individual all you want, and that sounds great. But the reality is that you do have that cultural inheritance.
no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And so
I'm not
I don't know if we can have
but
this
I have more than that. But
conversation
my point
without
is I
talking
have
about
that.
that.
Yeah, but my point is I have that, but I have also more than that. I'm not just confined to that. That was my point.
But most people are. And so I think when we have this conversation, if we're talking to the people, you know, we have to keep in mind that culture has us all on a lock and we don't even realize it. It's like when fish are swimming in the water and you say, wow, there's water. And they're like, what water? Because that's all they know. And this is who we are as human beings, all of us. And
So how do we break it? How do we embrace where does that humility
I
come
think
in? How can we become that one?
Well, I think for me, and this is just when you talk about the Bible, which is a very narrow construct of creation. If you're talking to, you know, a Japanese person or talking to a Hindu person or talking, you know, there are 5,000 plus religions on the planet. And so if you're using one source or one authority, then you have to admit that everything that you are talking about after that is influenced by that authority. And since that authority promotes dualism and a bilateral thought system, we have to acknowledge that.
Okay, now I heard you. I'm learning. So hear me.
Okay.
What if the narrow view is a very broad view that is the only view, and that is true love. And if you don't love, what are you? If you don't love in this dualistic society and dualistic mentality, according to the dictionaries and lexicons and all this, you're hating. So how can you
There's
love?
that duality again. It's either love or hate.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So why does it seem like the whole world, and I say seem, wants love? So how do we define that, right? How do we define love? If, whether I'm a Hindu, a Zoroastrianism, whether I'm Pentecostal, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, Catholic, whether I'm an agnostic, a Jew, a female, male, or whether I'm a they, how do I define love? And if I define love in a certain way, do I give it to others who differ than me?
Well, I think that is a valid conversation. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we touched on that before, because once again, that's cultural as well. And
Mm-hmm.
some, people agree that, hey, this is how we're going to conduct ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have a country like Canada, which technically has more firearms than the United States, but has, firearm deaths are nearly zero compared to America. So there's a certain cultural conduct, a code of conduct that every group decides to agree on. It
Mm-hmm.
goes back to culture.
Exactly.
Right. So when you say
Do
like,
you
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, we're agreeing. What
no,
is it?
no, go. No, all I'm saying, when we talk, define culture.
Culture is the system that teaches you how to view reality.
There it is. That's the whole point. To have a united culture.
You'll never have
We
a
have,
united culture, and why would you want one?
hey, listen. I'm not saying identical anything. I'm saying an agreeable culture. That's what I mean by united. You have your differences. You have differences, or unity in diversity. That's united. You can have that diversity. You can be unified in diversity. How do you do that? What is that glue for that? And my argument is, it's true love. Why would we go around condemning somebody because they disagree with us? Okay? Why would we slap somebody down because they're getting the attention and the attention that we want? Or why am I hogging the attention and not sharing it with somebody else? Okay, what is
Are
it
you trying to
like?
control and regulate people's behaviors?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why would I do that? Listen, Donella, you and I come from different perspectives. I love you. I'm not trying to
All right, you
change
all
you.
right? Well,
Yeah.
no. I
So
don't
I'm
know how
not
to
trying to
do
change.
that.
Okay,
Sorry.
I don't.
I
It
never
just,
knew how to do it. Is that it? Did I
I
do
don't
it?
know. I don't know.
Okay.
There we go,
I
right
think
there.
yours looks better than mine. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, it seems so asinine to me that, but then that's opposite, right? But here I am. I'm trying to embrace everybody, I get
But
this.
why?
Hmm, n-
Why?
no, I'm learning. See, this is that learning curve. When I try, when I'm trying to embrace everybody, and that's a good why. When a person like myself try to embrace everybody, you'll find out you get stuck. People
Yeah,
don't want to be embraced. Some
right,
people don't want you to hug them. Some people don't want you to kiss them. Some
right,
people don't want you to. So out of respect
right.
for
Which
them,
is love, right?
which is love, you give them their space. You give them their
Right.
distance.
But even the act of like, we're sitting here and we're judging others and saying, why can't people do this and why can't people do that? And we sit in a perpetual state of judgment, which also renders us stuck.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
humility at that point can look like I release people from my view of what they should act like.
Mm-hmm.
And I focus
Mm-hmm.
on what I can control and influence.
Now, see, now, let's take the narrow perspective of the Bible. If somebody wants to believe in that narrow perspective of the Bible, as I do, leave them alone. If
Right.
somebody wants,
Right.
it's
Right.
right. So if someone wants to take another view,
Right.
leave them alone.
Right.
Okay? If someone has a view and decides they want to change the view, leave them alone.
Right.
Let people go in and out as they see fit. Let them have their own judgment on the thing. Why am I trying to keep a tight lid on something? You know, someone once said, if you want to know if someone loves you, don't keep them in the cage. Open the door. If they stay in, you know they love you. If they leave, they still might love you, but not like let them fly. Let them be free. We can't have, but the fear is if you let somebody in, they're going to take advantage of you. And I believe the reason why people take advantage of other people because they have not allowed true love in their hearts. They are fearful. They may not have an opportunity to get this. They may not have an opportunity to do that. Or they may not even want to work as hard to get it. And so they're not showing love. I
Well,
believe in I believe in true love. True love means I know what my limitations are. I'm open to learn. I don't force anybody on my views. I listen because they may have something that I can learn from. And that's it. And that's my narrow perspective of life. And it caused great pain when you are around individuals who don't want to do that. Now, we have this election coming up. We got about 6 minutes left. We have this election coming up, and we have strong opinions on either side. And my appeal to individuals is if your candidate doesn't win the election, you always win when you have true love in your heart. You listen, you learn, you add, like I think you mentioned, the president doesn't have carte blanche. They don't use carte blanche anymore, Victor. He doesn't have
that's one of my
MasterCard.
favorite words, though. Thank you for
Oh,
saying it.
yeah. Yeah. He doesn't have that. In our country, there's check and balances. Hopefully, it will remain that way. There are check and balances. Voting is part of that check and balance. You get out and vote. But most people vote just during just the presidential election. But the key issues is between that. When those issues are at stake, when they're changing the laws and they're changing the
Right.
precepts.
That's
And
right.
so that's when people should do that. If people just base their votes on personality, to me, they deserve what they get. It's one thing.
Ooh,
If I
look at you.
vote,
That doesn't sound like true love,
it's
Reverend.
true love. It's their thing. Do what you want to do. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. But as far as me, I'm going to do what I believe is right. If somebody, by the way, that's another part of humility. Let me read it. It said, being humble doesn't mean allowing others to take advantage of you. Instead, it's about maintaining your dignity and self respect while showing respect and kindness to others. Humility involves setting healthy boundaries and standing up for yourself and others when needed, but doing so with grace and without arrogance. I like those definitions. It wasn't mine. You just type it in your computer, you can find it. You know, so I believe that we can survive as a nation and as a people, regardless of who. Now, there may be some immediate things that you want to be taken care of. You may vote for this party or that party, but that's good, whatever you vote for. But I like to hope and pray that people are voting on those issues that they hold dear to themselves and not on mere personality and
But
not
you know
on
that
what
that's not true.
yeah, I know. I
You
know.
know, it's tribal, it's cultural. But and see, that's the thing too that I think, Dr. V, I need you to be here on Earth in
I'm
reality.
here.
And I need you to know that the lions are eating the baby bunnies. I need you to know that.
I need you to know that people are eating people. I'm here on Earth. Girl, you know how many nubs I got from people stabbing me in the back? What you talking about?
I know that you look, you a strong soldier still standing,
Oh,
still
with aches
delivering the
and
message.
pain. With aches and pain. Even though you sought to correct me on the metaphor about Satan and so forth. Yeah, there's a being, it's called Satan, once called Lucifer. But the crux of the whole controversy is more of an attitude than an actual action. Because we are human beings. We are frail. We don't fully understand all there is to understand.
Correct.
But if my attitude is right, I'm seeking to understand without putting someone else down. Or when I have to put somebody else down to make myself look good, something's wrong with that. And so I shouldn't have to do that. Should be able to lift things up, lift people up when I come around people. I pray that God will help me to do that. And my last point I'd like to bring out, then I leave the floor to you. You
Oh, I
have the
get
last
30
word.
seconds.
No,
Oh,
you
I
have
get the
almost
last word. That's important.
yeah, you get the last word. So the thing that really gets me is that when uh the gay rights seek to change the Bible, that gets me.
Oh, like by
That's,
saying Leviticus means
yeah,
something
yeah.
else.
Let the Bible speak for itself. Don't go out and try to change it. If you believe that the Bible is wrong, then live a life to prove that it's wrong. Don't try to change the Bible. And likewise with those who believe in the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, it says love your enemies. Do good to those individuals. It doesn't tell you go out there and try to change them. If you have something better than what they have and they perceive it, they're going to ask you. You don't have to force people to believe in Christianity. You don't have to force people to believe in the Bible. What people are going to believe in is whether or not you love them and respect them or not. If you don't love and respect people, you can have your Bible. If you don't love and respect people, you can have your gender, whatever the case may be, because you have divorce among same-sex marriage people. You have divorce among opposite-sex marriage people. So let's get it straight. We gotta love. If we're gonna survive, we got to love and we got to let people be themselves. And when we do that, we won't rob from people, we won't steal from people, we won't put people down, okay? We won't stab people in the back. We will do what we need to do in order to make things work for us without cheating or tricking other people. That's my last word. What's yours?
I think that we're on this planet, this earth plane, which is extremely difficult. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of things to be afraid of. And I think as human beings, just on a personal level, if we can just take that time sometimes to really just appreciate the experience and stop trying to change the experience, that we can have moments where we actually feel and transcend all of this chaos we've got going on and actually do feel a different type of love, which is what some would say, which is God's love, which really, and you're not going to feel it all the time because you're in this human body. It's very heavy. The molecules are very dense. Matter is moving very slowly. The vibration is very low.
Did you read my book? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, I did. I bought it. You know,
Okay.
I did. I'm sorry, and I'm taking too long. But the point is that there is relief to be found, and then we got to go back out there and fight again.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm happy that we had this moment. I'm happy that we kikied, and I'm happy that we did all that, and it was fun. And that's what I do. I enjoy it because it's a lot. Being a human is a lot.
Yes, it is. And I want to tell you, Donella, it's been a joy having you on, stimulating. Like you say, you like to cause people to think, and that's good. I think we need to be agitated, agitated, agitated. We get too comfortable. And as you mentioned, that I said, you have the last word. Okay.
That's
But
okay. I loved your word.
like if you constantly talk to yourself or you're listening to someone who agrees with you all the time, you're not really growing. You're not really learning. You're reinforcing something that you already believe in, which may be good, but you have to step out of that sometime and listen to other people. You may learn something. You may learn that you better stay where you were, or you may learn, wow, this is something different. It brought my horizon. I don't believe everything that this person said, but that's one caveat right there I can add to mine. So we can grow, we can develop, we can really learn to change. I'd like to say, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Witnesses, Witnesses to True Love. And I said witnesses, not witness, witnesses to true love all around the world, in your home, in your school, on your job. Take time just to sit down and talk to somebody. Better yet, just sit down to listen to someone and find out new things about this beautiful world that we're living in. Well, that's it for us tonight. I hope you can join us again on tomorrow. Well, next week. Let's not say tomorrow night. Oh, I did say tomorrow night. Girl, get out of here. Oh, good night, everyone. God bless. Wow, that was real good. I do pray that everyone will come to know truth. Yes, I think Donella raises a good point. Although I don't totally agree with the narrow-mindedness of the Bible, I think it's the narrow-mindedness of the people who read the Bible. For the Bible speaks of true love. It's not limited your faith or this faith or that faith. It's love everybody as you love yourself and do good to those who despitefully use you. These are the teachings of Christ. And Christ means the anointed one. To be anointed, filled with his spirit, and to have his spirit is to be full of holiness and truth. Witnesses true love. We are empirical thinkers, and we're also people of faith. God bless you, and good night.
In the quiet of my soul, where doubts and fears take hold, I feel a gentle breeze. Your presence sets me free. The touch of love, so soft yet strong, heals my heart where